Hi, it's Summer and this is my May wrap up. May was honestly not my best reading month. Everything that I read was just kind of like okay, so that kind of sucks, but I still wanted to talk about what I read. The first book that I'm going to talk about is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I listened to this on audio, so I don't have a physical book. I do recommend the audiobook if that's something that you've been kind of like thinking about doing. I thought that the narrator was good and I didn't feel like it took away from my reading experience. I liked this book, it just like wasn't an all-time favorite or anything. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I think I just went into this book with like really high expectations because of TikTok and BookTube and stuff. I've just heard everybody say that this book will make you cry, you will feel so many emotions, that it wrecked people, it's like people's favorite book. So I went into this thinking that it was going to be like a 5-star, potentially a new favorite book, and it was just okay. It's a Greek mythology retelling following Achilles and Patroclus as they grow up and end up being in like the Trojan War. I haven't read the source material that this book was based off of, so I didn't have any kind of like preconceived notions about the characters or the timeline or anything before I went into it. Even not having read the source material though, I think that this book was kind of ruined for me because I just knew really early on how the book was going to end. And it's not like that was really being like kept a secret from us. There's like lots of really heavy clear foreshadowing that's done early on in the book that really leads you in a direction of like knowing how the book is going to end. And for me, I just think that took away some of like the impact the ending could have had. I think that the book still could have had the foreshadowing, but maybe kept a little bit more vague so we were still kept in the dark a little bit. If this is your favorite book, I can totally understand why. I just think that for some reason it wasn't for me. I've had this on my TBR for a long time though, so I'm glad that I finally got around to it. The next book that I want to talk about is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. My bestie slash cousin Allie, who's also into reading, got these for me for my birthday because it's one of her favorite series. And let me just tell you, it's like the worst feeling when you don't love somebody else's favorite book as much as they do. I have felt so bad about not loving these books. The main character in this book is Emilia. This whole entire book takes place in like 18th century Italy. Emilia and her twin sister Vittoria are witches and they're being taught magic from their grandma, and they work in their family's restaurant. Emilia kind of gets wrapped up in these murders that start happening in their town, and in that process she accidentally summons a demon prince from hell. This is a shorter fantasy book, so it was one that I got through really quick, and I thought that the pacing was really fun. I love books about witches, so that was also really great. I also really enjoyed some of like the food descriptions and stuff. Since she works in her parents' restaurant, there's a lot of like Italian food that's described. I kind of think that there were just too many things going on in this book, just too many elements that were trying to be such a big part of the story that it just got really confusing. Along with the murders, there's also like a curse that you find out about. The main character has been told a lot of lies that you're trying to figure out like what's true and what's not. There are just so many things that are a mystery that it's just like hard to focus on all of them. I wish that this would have just been simplified a little bit more. There were also a couple of things that we hear about throughout the book that are made out to be like a really big deal, and then when those things do happen, it's just really anticlimactic, like literally nothing happens. So I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars as well. I did like it enough to read the second book, and I actually just barely finished that the other day, so I'll talk about that in my June wrap up. This was a fun, quick read though, and I think I would recommend it to you if you're newer to this genre. The last book that I read in May was Heartless Sky by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti. This is book 7 in the Zodiac Academy series. This is one of the most fun and unique fantasy series that I've read, but these last few books are really just like not my favorite. I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. I'm just so sick of the authors bullying these characters that we love so much. I also feel like with their author's notes at the end of these last couple of books, they're bullying us. They basically just like rub it in your face, like the things that they've done to the characters in these books, and it's just leaving a really bad taste in my mouth. I just really don't love some of the choices that were made for this book, and I just feel like we've been hit with so much pain and like it hasn't relented to the point where I'm just like tired of these books. Like I just need something good to finally happen. Basically everything that I said about the 6th book in my April wrap up applies to this one too. So yeah, I don't know. I definitely will be reading the 8th book when it comes out later this year, but there is a lot riding on that book. It basically will make or break this series for me. That's everything that I read in May though. Like I said, not my best reading month, but June is already going better, so that's good. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.